Martha's the best healer, or she's the worst healer. You should level her first, but only so high. You've over-leveled your Martha, now you suck against all these bosses and in PvP. What are you gonna do?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central, and on this video I want to discuss the healer hero Martha, why she's the first healer hero that you should potentially level, and a little discussion about sweet spots, min-maxing teams, and all of that. This isn't going to be the most mathy or statistically perfect video. We're going to work on that over the next month and get you one of those as best we can. But with the leak by Loadrunner of the new Celestial skins coming in the next month or two, you can see that Nebula, Martha, and Fafnir are getting new Celestial skins. We don't know what the stats are yet. This is a Hero Wars mobile specific leak, but Celestial skins came to both versions of the game last year about the same time, and I thought that we would discuss, because I'm sure this question is going to pop up again. In fact, it has a couple of times. How high to level Martha? Now, Martha is an interesting healer hero. She's a very thick, very tanky backline hero. She's very sneaky in how she heals. Her T party conjures a totem that restores allies' health. This is an area of effect. This is heals your entire team. Every time it puffs, it heals your team once, maybe twice a second per 8 seconds. I think it's actually 0.5 seconds or something like that. You also have Healing Brew. When the totem is active, the ally with the least health now receives additional healing. It looks like Martha sends out a ton of healing every fight, but it's actually this ability right here where she's healing herself. That's actually why it looks like she's doing so much healing, but it's actually self-healing. It's not actually healing your team. And in that respect, there's a lot of healers that can do a better job in other circumstances, depending on the type of fight you're going up against. Celeste is great at, fast single target healing, as well as a little bit damage and utility. You have Dorian, who's probably the best actual healer in the game based on positioning. You have Marcus, who is really good if you're trying to find some ways to push some teams back. There's a lot of great healers in this game, but one of them, and only one of them, are used in every activity in the game. And that's Martha. And I keep coming back to this about how, the first team that everybody should consider building, the first team that you have to build, and I say this, you don't have to build really any hero in Hero Wars in order to be successful. A lot of people say that you have to have Aurora and you have to have Dante, and there's a good argument for all of that. Like, in order to be a good high-end, day-in, day-out player, you need Dante, you need Aurora, you need Celeste. And while, you're not wrong that those are very good and handy heroes, you could get to the top of Arena, top of Guild War, top of Global Championship, or Clash of Worlds, with your own team. 3 healers, 3 tanks, 3 damage dealers. You'll figure it out, I'm sure. But Martha in the LOL-osh team, that is Isaac and Zhu, Nebula, Sebastian, and Martha, is found in every single activity. She's great in boss fights, she's great in Guild Wars and Clash of Worlds, and as I mentioned, she is one of the 5 heroes in the LOL-osh team. That is the meta Osh team. All right, so I want to give a shout out to Knuckler, or Cordy, as his YouTube name is. He asked me this question a little while ago, but he was not the first in the last week, and he won't be the last in the next month, I'm sure. Where should I take my Martha? Now, I want to preface this whole conversation by saying 2 things. First of all, you should level up your Isaac first. All right, your Isaac being where he needs to be to tank the Osh boss and other things is way more important. All right, him surviving is paramount. Okay, the second thing, part 1B, I should say, is Sebastian. You need to get Sebastian up there also. You really, really, really need to get Sebastian up there also. You need to. And before those 2 heroes are capped, there is a point that you can get Martha to. All right, and I'm feeling that's around the 100k power level. Just as a point of reference, I'm going to show you mine. Let's see, where is... Oh, we beat the 160 already. Let's see. Here we go. So my Martha is orange 4, hovering at 125,000 power level. Now you might say, oh, that's really high, but this is applicable to all levels of the Osh fight. Okay, so if you're fighting Osh level 130, if you're fighting Osh level 140, if you're fighting Osh level 150 and 160, the premise is basically the same. Your Isaac and your Sebastian has to survive. All right, if they're not surviving, then those heroes aren't strong enough yet. Okay, if your Martha is not the first one to die, you can still build her up. Okay, once you've built her up to a point where she's not the first person to die or doesn't die frequently in those Osh 130, 140, 150 fights, then you need to continue working on other heroes. You need to work on Zhu a little bit more, you need to work on Nebula a little bit more, but you need to make sure that the Isaac and Sebastian are a little bit higher. And this isn't intended to be a leveling guide for Osh, I apologize for that, but I'm just trying to keep things in perspective as far as ratios, right? And as your guild progresses in these Asgard fights, you know, suddenly you're beating the 140 every week, and you're working on 150. Now suddenly you're beating the 150 every week. The answer to the question, where should I level my Martha to, is going to continue to creep up as your guild gets higher and higher. And I've done a very cursory look over the last couple of weeks. I haven't tracked anything yet, but I'm going to start tracking it today and over the next month or two, just to kind of see where things are. You know, where should you level your Martha to? The second thing that I want to mention, remember I told you there was two things that I need to preface this whole conversation. The first one being Sebastian and Isaac are first. The second thing is that there's a lot of randomness. There's a lot of randomness in the Osh fights, especially at high levels. Where does the meteor shower target? You know, lucky crits, stuff like that. But I will say this, week in and week out, I see the same type of players having 1 million plus damage. Or, I'm sorry, 100 million plus damage, okay? This guy right here has got 160k Martha. And while they did use Albus here, you can use Albus if your survivability of your team is good, and 118, 120 million damage. Okay, we've got a couple that are in the lower here, 33 million. Let's look at this one right here. Deathman here. Deathman has 146k. Is that 15,000 power level going to make the difference? It is impossible to know for sure. It is impossible. What I would recommend is getting your Martha to a certain point and then trying it a couple of weeks in a row and seeing where you land. All right. Is it possible that there's some shortcomings elsewhere? You can see that his Isaac, well, he brought Helios to this fight, so this isn't even a Sebastian situation here. Well, that kind of invalidates that whole comparison. Let's try Goat 1 here. Goat 1 did 5.2 million damage, and their Martha's at 142. So again, is that 20k power level gonna matter? Well, I can see that his Sebastian is at 145k. There's about a 15, 16, 20,000k difference there. You can probably get your, what is my Sebastian up to? Just for point of reference. Here we go. So my Sebastian and Isaac are at 153 and 170. So my Sebastian is almost maxed. He's not red 3 yet. My Isaac is absolutely maxed across the board, but 0 magic defense skin. So we're going to call it around 170k is where a maxed hero is. So back down here to the bottom, taking a look at Goat, you can see that Sebastian at 144 and Isaac at 142. There's a good 60k here at the top end that they could build into this to get higher damage. You could probably watch this fight, and if Martha survives, but you know everybody else died quicker, and you know, forgive me, I don't want to just watch 160 Osh fights over and over and over again, but it's possible. Yeah, see, Sebastian and Isaac died first, so right now his Martha is too high, right? This Martha is too high because his Isaac and his Sebastian are dying first. Let's take a look at Remedy, 118 million. Okay, this is a maxed Martha for sure, right? 162k, 176 Sebastian, 154 Isaac. Let's take a look at this fight. Just gonna speed through it real quick. Yeah, so if your support heroes for this team, you know, Nebula and your main two, Isaac and Sebastian, are surviving, it really comes down to a lot of the RNG at the end, I think. But having Martha be a little bit weaker in this fight so that she ults faster is an argument. It's absolutely an argument. But would it have helped Remedy get more than 118 million? Do you need to get more than 118 million? Just a point of reference here. The 160 boss has 860 million. Let's divide that by 30. So if each of your guild members, 1 out of 30, right, brings only one team to the 160, and the other 4 teams of your 5 teams in the Osh matchups are killing the 150 boss. Each of your teams only needs to do, each of your individual guild members only needs to do 28.6, 29 million total damage each individually. All right. Whenever you start getting players in your guild that are doing 118 million, right? 118 million, 36. We'll take a look at Todd in just a second here. 53 million. Luke. Let's take a look at Luke's 53 million here. Max Sebastian, maxed Zhu, maxed Isaac without the magic defense skin. Pretty high Martha. Still, 53. That's almost double what one player needs to bring to the Osh 160. Here's Mars. Mars is pulled on 114 million. Got a maxed Sebastian, maxed Isaac with the magic defense skin, maxed Nebula, which is, kind of uncommon, and that 178k Martha, right? Very strong Martha. So I think that there is some nuance to leveling Martha. I do. I really do. And I think that you need to take a hard look at what your numbers are week after week after week and make the decision. It's like losing weights, okay? It's like building a business or like a YouTube channel or something like that. You can't make changes in 1 week and expect to see dramatic results, right? This is a long-term kind of consideration. I personally will be maxing out my Martha. I'm not gonna hold my Martha back, but she's not a priority hero for me right now. There are other intelligence-based heroes that I'm working on right now. I need a Mira built up, so I'm working on a Mira right now, but Martha is definitely one of the heroes that I've... I'm only orange 3 here. I'm orange 3. I'm maybe doing 25-30 million damage. If I had a higher level Martha, maybe I could be doing more. Maybe my Zhu or my Nebula are too weak for me not to be doing as much as I'm doing. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. When the new skin arrives, and it comes, end of July, I think, maybe end of June. I can't remember exactly when the Celestial skins come. I would probably say that if it's not like a health skin, then it's probably going to be a must-have, right? Magic attack is a low priority stat for her. Armor would be good, help her survive a little bit more, especially against Zhu. Magic defense would be health, I don't know. We'll see what the stats are. But if you're curious about what buffs that my guild uses in the Osh fight, then I've got a video on screen now. And if you're curious about some of the other teams that my guild uses to get high damage numbers, that's the second video that's on screen now. It's so random. The fight is so random that some weeks you're just going to blow it up 100 million plus damage, and other weeks you're not. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.